my bitch. Please don't get offended if I say.
What's up? It's Old Ass T, and you already know the vibes. If you don't, you are about to. Welcome to the Voice of NYC TV, where the Voice of NYC talks about a little bit of this and about a little bit of that. Now, before we get into the tea of the week, we always gotta get into the songs of the week. So let's get into it. Going at number 1, we got Saving My Love by Friday and Kehlani off his recent project, Some Days I'm Good, Some Days I'm Not. Low-key felt that, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I'm super proud of how far Friday has come. I was put on to him when he released Empty Stomach off a later project, and we can say basically that I know a thing or two about being backstage with the stars on an empty stomach.
I need nothing all day, just some bread and jelly.
Because some events was real early and I was not gonna waste time for a bacon, egg, and cheese, you feel me? Back to this song though, this collab with Kehlani is a great example on why you need to give this album a chance. Because this was just a little sample. And one thing about it, 2 things for sure, this is a project. This ain't no 8 songs and call it a day. No, this guy has parts. So that means he really put his blood, sweat, and tears into this album. Going at number 2, we got Father by this artist that goes by the name of Jim Legacy. Now I got put on watching a clip of his music video on Twitter, and yes, I'm still calling it Twitter. But the creativity caught my eye, and the sound had got me hooked. Some people will have their opinions, but if I have to keep it real, and if we look at the material of these other artists that we have right now that are mainstream, everybody got chains, BBL hoes, and in the streets. I'm getting tired of the same thing over and over again. It got out of the bubble of what we normally see and did something creative. And that's one of the things that I usually like to ask from mostly New York artists. What happened to creativity? What makes you different than these other artists that are already popping? Instead of chasing what's trending, why don't you guys go out of your comfort zone? Instead of chasing what's trending, try to get out of that box that most people are already in. Go and create your own lane. And that's what I miss from music. Some people might say that this wasn't unique, but in my opinion, based off of what we usually see on a day-to-day basis and what's usually popping, it's a breath of fresh air. And speaking of breaths of fresh air, let's get into this next Songs of the Week topic. Because in my last video, I was shouting out Fergie Baby on his recent tour announcement. And now, we're shouting him out on his recent announcement of getting signed. Shout out to Fergie Baby. You definitely been doing your thing. You've been having this city on lock. Keep being that breath of fresh air that hip hop needs. I've been talking about what I need from New York City. We need something different. And everybody's just been giving me the same thing, but with Fergie Baby, he doesn't disappoint. And that's why he's been seeing the fruits of his labor. Because it's something different. Everybody's tired of hearing the same thing. And he was able to give us a little bit of something. So keep shaking up New York City. And shout out to everybody else that got on the Songs of the Week list. Let's get into the tea of the week. Going at number 1 for the first topic, we're going to be talking about Donald Trump and his robot AI JD Vance ambushing the Ukrainian president. And yes, I'm going to use the word ambushing, because if we evaluate what we had seen, that's exactly what had went down. Look at how they composed themselves. Talking over him, barely letting him speak a word. The media asking why the Ukrainian president doesn't wear suits at a time like this. And I really thought that it was hypocritical because, as Lovely T had pointed out, shout out to her, last time we saw Elon Musk, he popped out with a custom Facebook t-shirt, a trench coat, a black MAGA hat, and some shades. That's professional? This dude is working in the White House. That's a professional. That's how we represent in America? Whether you voted for Donald Trump or not, we can all agree that this was not the way to assert your dominance. And that's period, point blank. He talks a lot of game about Obama, but at the end of the day, some might not have liked Obama. Some might not have agreed with Obama. But one thing a lot of people and most people can say is that they had respect for Obama. And it's honestly sad that we can't continue that tradition of having respect for other people. Trump is out here shaking tables in order to make things happen, but in my honest opinion, I'm not even gonna go too deep on Trump because at the end of the day, this is who the American people voted for. And if we really want to be honest, it makes me reminisce on what a lot of people were saying on why they didn't want to vote for Kamala. They felt like she wasn't a great representation when she was VP. They felt like she wasn't fit enough to be the president, but you feel like this is a good example? Let's get to the next topic because like I said, I'm not going to dive into this. You already know how the world been acting. I already had this conversation with y'all and my old professor. They like to do censorship. I don't care what nobody say. Censorship happens. So I'm not going to pretend like it don't, and we just going to get to the next topic. Now, next on the list, we're going to be talking about Jim Jones and his interview at the Breafast Club because it was a lot of things that went down, and I feel like I have to share my opinion based on what I observed. Now, when the whole Cameron and Jim Jones situation happened, I already shared my opinion. I said that I rock with them both regardless of what happens. So I'm not going to sit there and stir up beef. You don't even know when they might make up again. Now, this Breafast Club interview was Mixy from the jump. Because DJ Envy had on a Locks hat, knowing good and well that they beat Jim Jones and Dipset during the verses. So now you being Mixy. You got him reminiscing. But that's not all. Because the questions were just as Mixy. Basically trying to reel in Jim Jones. And unfortunately, Unknem then took the bait. From that moment that Envy interrupted Jim Jones talking about Ye, to insinuating that there was a break that happened prior to the situation between him and Cam. Getting a veteran journalist moment from Charlamagne.
Did it break where it seems like it can't come back together?
Or did it? When I listen to the album, I hear you still reference him as your brother, and you explain all of this. You talk about the apartment, and you talk about bloodshed. You talk about all of this on the album, but it still seems like that's your brother.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, I always give my critiques on the Breakfast Club. I don't care what nobody say, I'm gonna give my opinion. But I always give them props at certain moments. I feel like that was a very good moment because with Envy pressing that question, you could tell that Jim Jones was uncomfortable even speaking about this. He came here to talk about his upcoming album. And I feel like Charlamagne was able to kind of sense the energy and change the energy that came from those questions. And that moment right there told me where his questions and his angle was gonna go. I saw Dice Peso in the background. Shout out to him. That's another NYC artist that's been going OT. And me personally, I feel like even with that moment, the Breakfast Club could have put out another mic and gave him a seat, just so that they could talk about how they met and what collaborating with Jim Jones means. I mean, this is his artist. It would make sense to ask those questions. It just felt like they were just trying to mix up a whole lot of drama, and it was more about mixing up beef and starting up viral moments than actually conducting a well-put interview. No shade. And I'm honestly disappointed in the Breakfast Club. I feel like, yes, they've had their moments where they were shady. We're not going to sit there and pretend like they didn't. But at the end of the day, through those shady moments, they were able to still conduct very good interviews. And now I just feel like we're just asking questions that we saw people in the comments say, or other people on YouTube. And I'm not winking for myself. Honestly, I feel like I would like to see for them to do a little better. Because I grew up listening to them when I was on my way to school, respectfully. And I feel like the direction that they're heading in is just not that well of a great representation for Black media. And that's all I'm going to say. It's all love, but I really didn't like the way they were trying to stir up some beef. It was giving me in high school that one time. If you remember, you remember. I ain't gonna say too much. Anyways, let's get to the next topic. Now, going last on the list, we got Miss Cash Me Outside versus Travis Barker's daughter. Now, this beef ignited when both sides dropped their own diss tracks that set social media on fire for days. These two were cool at one point. Confidants, if you will. Until Bad Baby exposed Alabama Barker for being outside and catching her baby daddy outside. Next thing you know, Alabama conjured up the spirit of Lotto on a beat. But Bad Baby sparked back, making her own diss with a sample cleared by Ye, a drummer boy resembling Travis Barker, and previewed a sample of a verse that was thought to be made by Ye, until he addressed the hype, saying that it was AI and how he basically wants no parts. Now folks are booing Bama for being a snitch, while Bad Baby gets the love, earning a spot on the Spotify charts, entering at 198. Most have shown her love as the favorite, while some said that they like Bama's diss more. But how did you feel about it? And if you haven't heard it, when you did listen to it, who do you think won? Now that's all for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You already know I'm putting in that work. We're just here for the winter time, chilling on the inside. But I promise you, when it start getting hot, we gonna be outside. Shout out to my good sis Brandy, cause she stay outside, never inside. Shout out to my good sis. And shout out to everybody that's putting in that work when it comes to their passion. I already know the vibes when it comes to that. Anyways, make sure you show this video some love, like this video, comment below, share here, there, up, down, left, right, all around. I don't care what you want, quite frankly. I gotta keep it being, you know what I'm saying? As long as I get my opinion out, that's really all that matters. If you don't agree, it doesn't matter, because this is my opinion. You feel what I'm saying? Anyway, always show love to God. Always be humble. Always make sure that you show love to the next person, because real talk, you never know where that gets you. Period, point blank. People remember everything. Let's just be real. But don't just do it. Don't just do it for the favors. Do it because at the end of the day, you want to have a good heart. Period, point blank. Because it's a whole lot of evil that's going on outside. Okay? Let's be the good on the inside. Period. Alright, y'all. I'll see you guys next time. Again, make sure you show this video some love. Show God some love. Show the people some love. And you guys will be seeing me next time.
I couldn't believe it. Soon as I bought my Cuban chain